In DC Comics, folks look at Kryptonians like an overpowered race. For good reason. I mean, I'm not gonna flex, they're pretty busted. You know what other races busted too? Low key, the Martian race is pretty busted. I mean, look at my Martian Manhunter video. If you watch Young Justice, you probably know about Miss Martian. Long story short, she's just as versatile as Martian Manhunter, but let's get it. There were these green Martians who were considered the good ones, but then there was the white Martians who were generally considered to be bad and kind of stereotyped. But Miss Martian seems to be able to break that fold because she's kind of cool and sweet. It shouldn't really be a surprise that she's a physical powerhouse. One can say kind of like Martian Manhunter, she can make her limbs into lethal weapons by adding spikes to them or increasing their mass on top of the blows. Of course, she can shapeshift pretending to be somebody else. She messes up this being known as Hard Rock. Physically breaking metal handcuffs for anybody in this tier is easy. And she straight up says straight out of her mouth that she's way physically stronger than beings that are super soldier tier like Deathstroke, which is pretty obvious as well, right? She can use her strength in tandem with her stretching to be able to restrain beings easier. She even battled herself from the future, an evil version of herself in raw physicals and stuff. Superman tier beings she can damage with her strikes, which shouldn't be that much of a surprise. She's even been punched by Kryptonian tiers like Supergirl and looks like this, like I'm ready. Large nuclear explosion type stuff. She can reform from the bullcrap like Liquidy. She's gotten hit with all type of energy projection type stuff. She's physically strong enough to throw cars at this being, for example. She can strike and hit Amazon so hard she could accidentally make the train jump the track. So to correct herself, she said, let me stop the speeding train with her physical, with her strength. Superman even congratulated her, and you get the heck out of her way when she gets real mad. During this little war with her future self tells her how crazy she gets. Pretty much explained to her how she could mutilate the Titans if she wanted to, and the Titans don't have no weaklings on their squad, making her see these horrifying images of her messing up her friends, showing her what her potential could be possibly. And the best way to get an understanding of her strength is to understand how strong the white Martians in general are. Even if they're not talking about her in particular, it still technically should apply to her because she already lacks feats, so this can kind of help you get a broader view of her strength. Plus, watch this video on top of my Martian Manhunter video. If you're trapped in an underground tunnel, white Martians can cause cave-ins, can knock back dark side sun like Orion. At their absolute weakest, they have the power to level mountains, which is an oversimplification. Leveling mountains is easy for Martians in general. It's a lot of powerful ones, some that can even restrain Wonder Woman. They even hurled a Green Lantern at Superman once, kind of making him look sleepy. Even the weakest ones in numbers can be a threat. Heck, even headlocking a Green Lantern and messing up their arm. In numbers, tag teaming, they can overpower beings like Alan Scott. Or 4 of them at once is enough to restrain the League, even characters like the Flash and Superman for a little second or two. I think we all can agree that Martian Manhunter is a Superman level being, so Miss Martian being able to hang with Supergirl is kind of like the parallel. It makes sense when it comes to her raw strength and stuff. Just how being a planet buster in DC Comics is like literally low end. She's kind of like Martian the Manhunter to where she doesn't have a flashy feat of actually destroying a planet on screen that much. I mean, Martian Manhunter barely has feats like that. She doesn't really have showings of actually doing it. I don't see why she couldn't though. Based on being able to slug it with Supergirl, someone who Superman even stated could crack the planet in half. Other beings joke around saying similar things about Supergirl. We've seen her arm wrestle Lobo, a Superman level being. So I see no reason on why she shouldn't be able to punch a planet apart with ease. Of course, they're not going to do it because they're good people, but she could if she felt like it. And especially her in her savage white Martian form, she should be able to do this too. Based on all the battle feats and stuff, it just kind of adds up with the consistency of how strong white Martians and stuff are versus Kryptonian tiers. I mean, we're not going to get on the DC comic powerhouses like Lobo, Supergirl match, who Miss Martian can match, can rock the cosmos and shake it with their blows, or beings in the same universe that can hold up the entire heaven. Lanterns in this universe, who Miss Martian can definitely compete against. White Martians in general can compete against, can contain energies that can wipe out entire galaxies, or energy taken from the destruction of entire galaxies. That's the type of stuff they can contain. You know, a lot of different crazy, over-the-top galactic type stuff DC characters do. She should be in that range of power as well. Showings like this, nobody pays attention to, on how she was able to box it up with a future version of herself, who has more fighting experience, for an extended amount of time, might I add. Think of her true white Martian form as her like berserker state. And if she doesn't have the willpower to hold it in, it will come out and be like a scary beast that's a danger for everybody. In the newer stuff specifically, right, in this occasion. In her white berserker state, she was able to face a hulked out beast boy. Yeah, one can even go as far as saying getting the edge. This is how she truly looks. She hides her true self so humans won't despise her. Matter of fact, when others state their opinion about her, it's been stated that she's the most mighty out of the group. She can turn into like a water hose, using the water to put a fire out if she needs to. Obviously, she can fly. She's agile when it comes to reflexes and stuff. She can dodge blasts. If you try to use bullets, she can intercept them. Jets are not fast enough for her. She catches up to it with ease. She's not afraid of blitzing beams while maneuvering around them if necessary. Just like that. You guys know heat vision is confirmed to be light speed in DC, and she can dodge it conveniently by using her stretchy abilities on top of it. But the things that makes her a Martian is proving that she has more than super strength and super speed, her versatility. She can shapeshift, so she's good at disguising. She's a psionic being on top of being able to shapeshift. Her clothes is basically her skin, so she's technically always naked all the time. Awkward. She even said so. Shapeshifting comes in handy during battle, like making multiple limbs if she needs to. Like this one time she looked like Robin just to get the drop on you to blitz you. Did I mention she got regeneration on top of this shapeshifting stuff too? Piercing damage seems useless to her based on her shapeshifting and regenerative properties. I mean, how you hurt her if she can survive getting her head blown off and just regenerates like it ain't no big deal? She reminds me of Majin Buu type characters on how her body seems spongy type, you know? Trolling everybody pretending to be Bart when she's really not. Man, if I had her abilities, I would be one of those characters that's confusing to even parry because I would be stretching my limb, make my head go into my stomach, have my head be a blade so you don't know what I'm attacked from, laser vision come from my feet. Kind of what we've seen Martian Manhunter do when he's team busting in certain comics. Like, just be mad confusing with the way he fights. Multiple limbs, lasers coming out of his chest. I mean, look at this scan on how she's stretching and battling and using her abilities during battle to be versatile. Dodging attacks by stretching around it like rubber during combat. This is Martian Manhunter, but I don't see why she couldn't do something similar to this, just like Martian the Manhunter can do, be able to get bigger than airplanes. Did I mention that she can go intangible and go through stuff? So if she doesn't actually dodge your attack, she would just phase through it and don't get hit at all. Or in rare cases where somebody's actually too strong for her to break out of the grip, she would just use intangibility to break out instead. Then counter back. One could say she got her own form of blast power. Ability Martians don't really spam that much, but it's implied that they could possibly, not just her, but also Martian Manhunter use telekinesis or telekinetic blasts if needed, I guess. It's crazy to think about. Makes you wonder why they don't use telekinesis a little more. I mean, it's implied they can use their psionic abilities, telekinesis or telepathy, on beings as top tiers like Adam, so they should use it more. It would make perfect sense for her to have telekinesis, just like Martian Manhunter, because it's even portrayed like that in the shows. And let's be honest, telekinesis is one of the best abilities of all time. You really don't even need super strength when you got an ability like this. I mean, you don't even technically have to get your hands dirty, and you can use it as a shield. She has long range like Martian vision. The blast beings like Supergirl bad. More than one time blasting Supergirl. See the color of them? Hitting her. She's used it to disable gun torrents, melt guns of soldiers, or straight up blasting and melting armor when she feels like it. What makes her more scary is that she can actually go invisible. She can actually do some Professor X type stuff and go in your head. She can go in your head and wake you up from a coma. She will even use her telepathy to read their opponent's movements if needed. If she sits back and concentrates hard enough, she can scan a buttload of different beings at the same time to find a traitor, read your mind and tell if you're lying or get information out of your head. Like how she took information out of this person's head knowing where they live. She can hold a telepathic conversation with people that are way off from each other, like popping up as like a little head to talk to Supergirl in this occasion, even though they're hundreds of miles away from each other. Believe it or not, she has like a moral code to where she doesn't even use this ability as much as she should probably. This is like the one superpower I would never want to have. I don't want to hear the random thoughts people have in their head because stuff can get dark in people's heads. You can see her blasting with psionics against Beast Boy. Y'all remember that time she calmed down Mammoth with her psionic ability? She's so mighty when it comes to psionic telepathic type stuff is when she actually got her mind taken over successfully. So imagine taking over somebody's mind thinking you have full control over them. Their psionic abilities is so strong that you think you got full control over them, but you really don't. But instead she got control over you. Then locks down this same being, even got put in a psychic cage. So if you know it's good for you, you don't want to mess with her in her base state. And definitely not her Super Saiyan state, because the planet might actually get destroyed at that point. But what do you guys think? Did you know she was this strong, or did you about expect this? I kind of expected this myself, because I mean, look, Martian Manhunter, she's related to him. You know what I mean? But before I get going, thanks for the donations, guys. It helps out a lot. Respect her. I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.